expect something miraculous to happen today. Expect it. And as you expect it, you could even talk about it. You could say like, oh no, I'm expecting something really miraculous to happen today. And you can feel the vibe that I'm putting out right now. Feel that uplifting vibe when you say, no, for real, like, I think something really miraculous is going to happen today. And as you expect something to happen today, also expect something to happen tomorrow, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day. And as you start today saying, no, for real, miraculous things happen in my life all the time. I don't know how it happens, but it just does. No, seriously, miracles happen in my life all the time. I don't know how, but they could just keep happening. As you keep saying this, as you keep speaking this, as you keep planting these seeds, pretty soon you are going to have the most miraculous things happening in your life. And you're going to be like, no, for real, I can see my power now. You're going to understand that you created this. And through you understanding that you created this, miraculous things happening in your life, you're then going to understand that you actually can create absolutely everything in your entire life. And you can use the exact same system that you use to just create these miraculous things in your life to create anything that it is that you want in your life. So you can say, I don't know why, but every time I check my bank account, there's more money in there. I don't even know where it's coming from. Like I don't even know where it's coming from, but every time I look, I have more. And then begin to say these, speak these, say these things. Here's the thing. As long as you say and speak these things and you do not have doubt within you, they will materialize. I guarantee you, I'll put money on 100% is going to happen for you. But if you speak these things and you don't actually believe them, or you have doubt within you, they're not going to happen. But here's the cool thing. If you do have doubt, then this is showing you, ooh, there's some darkness within me that needs to be replaced with light, and you can then illuminate it. So let's say that you say, ooh, miracles, miraculous things happen all the time, but you don't actually believe that. I want you to go into the feeling, that feeling of doubt that you have of like, yeah, that actually doesn't happen. I want you to find that feeling, and you're going to go in and you're going to examine it and you're going to talk to it, because you're going to physically feel it somewhere inside your body. So this is called parts therapy. So let's say that you feel that feeling of like, oh, I don't know about that, in your chest. Okay, well then you're going to close your eyes and you're going to tune into that part, and you're going to give it a voice as if you could speak to it. Now, you might feel like you're making this all up, but you know what? Here's the cool thing. It doesn't matter. And you're your body, you're your mind, you're you. So it doesn't matter. Whatever is coming through is correct. It's the right thing. So when you go into this thing and you feel this doubt, okay, so you're going to talk to this doubt. Hey, doubt, why are you here? Well, because I've been disappointed before. Okay. So just because you've been disappointed before means that I should have doubt and ruin my entire future? Yes. Okay, well, that seems ridiculous, doesn't it? Okay, so then we can say, hey, dude, you know what? Rather than being doubt for me, could you play a role of being confidence and strength for me? And maybe it'll say yes. And then it's going to play that role for you instead. And you're going to have a different result. And then when you say, oh, miraculous things happen to me all the time. Oh, every time I look at my bank account, there's actually more money in there. Pretty soon, those things are going to feel different when you're saying them. They're going to feel more like a conviction, more like a heck yes, of course, we already know this, rather than a, ooh, I don't know about that. And as soon as you get the heck yes, this is how this happens. You're going to see crazy things begin to happen in your life that you will not be able to explain. And the only word that we have here is miraculous. But what really happens when you start to see these miraculous things is that you have hacked the system. You've hacked the system how it was meant to be. We're all meant to have this information. We're all meant to have this knowledge, but you've hacked the system. And through this hacking, your brain is going to begin to understand so many things. First of all, you're going to understand things about your past and how they had to play out the way that they had to play out, and the role that you played in it, and that it wasn't a bad thing. It was a necessary thing to get you here where you're here today. But what happens when we start to materialize these things that we're speaking, that we're saying, because we don't have any doubt, is we begin to understand how everything has played out in our life. And then we can understand that even those perceivably negative things that happened to us before were happening for us. were happening for us to lead you to this moment where you began to speak about miracles, where you began to then materialize these miracles in your life. And had those things not happened and those things not happened and all this stuff all over here, you wouldn't have been led to this moment where you would be here with me right now, where you would be getting this information, where you would be then putting it into practice, where you would be then within days seeing complete results of this and being like, dang. And then it's going to be easy to forgive your past. Forgive yourself of your past. Forgive other people of your past. It's going to be easy to forgive situations of the past and look at them differently as maybe necessary or maybe as a gift rather than this horrible negative thing that has happened. It's going to change your perspective. It's going to change your mind. It's going to change the way that you think, all because you've materialized things from your thoughts and from your words and from your belief. And so you will understand so deeply, oh, this is how this works. Oh, that's why that happened that way before. Oh, I understand so much more now. And through this, you will begin to then emanate that information that you now have out of you, and then passerbyers on the street, people who you come into contact with, people who you talk to, they're going to get some of this energy, some of this information, some of this knowledge from you, and you will be a blessing to these people without even actually having to speak about it. Just by being you, just by being embodied in that energy. So I was watching this video and this mother, this is like energy, right? So like they're watching with this camera, they can pick up energy. And I can't remember what that camera is called, but I have a couple cool stories about it. Anyways, so this mother is sitting there and her child comes up. And so there's, the mother's energy, like this big aura around her. And then this child's energy, this big aura around this kid. And then they come up and what happens? They merge together when the two of them come together. Okay, so this is pretty sweet. This is pretty cool. It shows, like it matters who you're sleeping next to. It matters who you're hanging out with, right? Because you're actually absorbing, picking up, you're merging your energy with the people who you hang out with the most, right? So this is what's so sweet about that, is when you get this information and you get this knowledge and you begin to live your life differently in a different way, the people who you're merging your energy with, they are picking up some of this energy and knowledge and understanding and wisdom. So you are not just doing this for yourself, you're doing it for the whole world. This is why they say, heal yourself, heal the whole world. This is literally what they're talking about, because as you heal, it's not like you need to go around and tell every single person about, this or this or this. And maybe you do. Maybe that is your purpose. Maybe that is your role. But lots of us, it's not. Lots of us, it's just to embody that. And it's just to be that. And then people are going to look and they'll be like, hey, you're different, man. This is when you share it with them. Yeah, well, I believe this. I understand how the laws of the universe work. I understand how I was totally screwing my life before I had that information. I was understanding how I was creating these repetitive patterns of these negative things or these positive things or whatever it was in the past. I understand how they're happening now. And because I understand that, I have a much better life because I'm waking up and I'm asking myself, what percent of heaven am I living in? Okay. And I'm adjusting that before I ever leave my house. What percent of heaven am I living in? Oh, if it's only 50%, man, there's some stuff to look at here, because heaven is love. Hell is fear. So then maybe there's a whole bunch of fear, 50% of fear that needs to be dealt with if it was only 50% heaven. But here's the cool thing about that. Even if that's where you're at right now, totally cool, man. Totally cool, because now you know. Now you know where to start, and you can begin to work on the fear that is here, right? It says in the Bible 365 times, do not fear. Don't be afraid. One for every day of the year. Why? Because it's a really big deal. Because when you fear, you feed the fear, and you're feeding the hell in your life, and you're planting seeds of it, and you're going to create more and more and more of it. And we don't want this, right? We absolutely don't want that. No, we want love. So anytime in the past, when, let's say, some fearful thought would come up throughout the day, like just pay attention to this, some fear-based thought of, oh, I'm not going to have enough. Oh, I don't know about this. Oh, I don't know, whatever it is. When it comes up, what would love say about that? What would love say? Love might say like, hey, man, you've been concerned about this in the past, but you've been fine. Everything works out for you. Even that bad thing that happened before, it turned around and then you met this other person and it was supposed to happen that way, and everything always works out for you. And when you can begin to call out your own crap, call out your own fear when it comes up, rather than like, oh, it's here, and giving into it and thinking the thoughts and feeding it and watering it and creating all of this mess. When it comes up, call it out, be like, hey, oh, fear, oh, you're here again, and speak to it like it's separate from you, because it is. But our thoughts are in our head, right? So it feels like it's us, it's in us, but it's not, it's separate from us. And so when it comes up, when you have that fear, call it out and be like, oh, hey, fear, old fear, you're here again. What are you doing here? And just by calling it out, you're taking its power away from it. Because the only time that things really have power is when they're hidden, when they're secret. They have all of this power over us. So I had an issue the other day. I had something that came up that really bothered me. And like I had a weird feeling. Something came up and I had this weird feeling and I was like, oh, what is that about? And because the divine never lies to me, I knew that this feeling meant something. But what happens? I take this feeling and I automatically assume, well, maybe it means this, or maybe it means that, or maybe it means that. And I let my mind run amok with it for several times, but for several weeks or for several days. But I didn't want to say something about it because I'm like, okay, maybe this is internal and I'm trying to, make excuses for this feeling that came up to try to just get rid of it. However, no matter what I did, no matter how much meditating, no matter how much, following it back and trying to find out, why am I having this feeling? I couldn't get the answer. So I needed to ask somebody like, hey, why might I be feeling this way about this particular thing? And even though the response that I got was not what I was looking for, me just getting it out of my system, all of a sudden, my system is completely at rest now. I'm like totally feeling fine. Whereas before, because this feeling, this thought was hidden and it was wrapped in confusion and I don't know and what's going on here and all of this stuff, it had control over me. I go in for a tub. Well, it's what I'm thinking about. It's depleting my energy. It has been given my life force energy, some thought, something. I was giving it all this energy. Now, I became aware that this was what was happening. Like, oh, wow, I'm giving this thing my energy. Like I was assessing myself and understanding like, oh, what I was doing. So then I'm like, okay, well, I actually have to say something about this. And so I did. And so then when I did, then I found the relief that I was looking for because it's now no longer inside of me. So if you have something that maybe you need to get out, and I'm telling you, man, sometimes people, they don't want to say things. They don't want to speak up. They don't want to, address this person. This person's really upset them. They're really bothered and annoyed with this person. And this person maybe keeps disappointing them or whatever it is, but they don't want to say. And so they don't say, so they keep it inside. It causes this internal agitation. It causes your energy to be depleted. You're always thinking about it. And then there's kind of tension and there's kind of like stress and like, oh, what's going on here? Oh, I don't like that. Going on. And we're keeping this all inside because we haven't said it. Now, what's the beneficial thing to do? Then I will tell my clients this, and they don't want to do it, right? I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to have to do that, but we do. And so I advise my clients, hey, say what you need to say. Maybe you need to write it in a letter. Maybe just even writing it in the letter and not even giving it to the person or something would be helpful. Or maybe you need to address it. So I had somebody one time and they're like, oh, well, this really bothers me and blah, 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 and it's in me and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, why don't you just say, why don't you tell that person? And so they did. And so I was like, well, how did it go? And they're like, yeah, not good. They did not receive it well. They were very defensive back. This was the result that happened. They're like, but I have to say, I feel better now. I actually feel totally fine. And I actually don't even care about that issue anymore. And it's like 100%. I know this is how it goes every time because you want a good result, right? Like, you want to hear what you want to hear. You want it to be good, but it actually, the result doesn't matter because she didn't get the result that she wanted. I didn't get the result that I wanted, but I still got out of it what I needed, which was to get that out of me and to have a feeling of relief, which is what I got, which is also what this other person, same thing, same result. They got the relief that they wanted. They're like, I don't even care. Often we have all these things built up in our mind and all these things that are so stressful and big deals and the things, but we internalize them all and we keep them all inside of us. And as we keep these things inside of us, it is darkness. If there's something that is worry or stress or tension or this or that, it's darkness. It's low vibrational energy. It's heaviness, and it will feel like heaviness. It'll feel like tension or stress or fear or all the things inside of us, and it will actually deplete our energy. And as soon as we let it out, meaning it's not living in us anymore. And we've let it out. Well, now it's not in our energy system, and we have room to let the light come into these places inside of us instead of where that darkness, that heaviness, that worry, that fear was living in us before. So such a beneficial thing to just get it out. So if there's something, let's say that there's a conversation that you've been needing to have, maybe with a parent, maybe you've been pissed at a parent for 50 freaking years and you've never said it, and you're like, no, and you just keep making excuses, even though you feel hurt and you feel betrayed and you this or that, but no, you make excuses for them, and oh, I know they did their best, and they, they love me, and blah, 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 blah. The fact that it still bothers you, the fact that it's still there means it's in you, and it's because it hasn't been let out yet. And as soon as you let it out, and you can let it out in a very beautiful, nice way, if there's something you need to say to somebody, like, I feel like you didn't raise me right. I feel like, you weren't there for me when I needed you to be there for me. And I feel like whatever it is that you need, this is a parent conversation, is what it could apply to anybody, obviously. But as soon as you let that out, you're free. And it doesn't matter how that person responds to you. They might get defensive. They might this, they might that. They might apologize. They might give you exactly what it is that you want. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what they give you. What matters is that it's not in here festering anymore. Because what is hidden festers. And it will never stop festering until it gets out. This is why, you see people, and on their deathbed, they'll like admit to a partner or something that they've, betrayed them, or that they've done, they just can't take it anymore. They have to get it out. And upon their deathbed, they have to, find some relief by speaking these things, because you could be 90 some years old, and something that happened when you're 5 years old could still be festering within you if you do not let it out. It's so important that we just be truthful. And when we say, hey, I'm feeling this way, or hey, the people who are going to accept us when we speak our truth, they're our people. And the people who aren't going to accept us, they're not our people. And cool. It's better that you find out by being you, but rather than being fake you and hoping that, oh, well, they're accepting this fake version of myself, so I'm just going to keep being this fake version of myself, because if I'm the real me, they might not accept me. Just be the real you, man. And the right people will find you, because the people who just are going to love and accept you, that are your people, that are your soul tribe, they're the ones. They can only find you if you're being you. But if you're being fake you, they're not going to recognize you when they see you, because they're going to be like, now I was looking for somebody way weirder than that. And you're going to be like, but I am. But you're not presenting that way, so they're not going to recognize it, right? So being who you are. Let the stuff that's inside, let it outside. And I'm not saying be volatile. Absolutely do not. But if there's something that's bothered you, or that has upset you, or that you're feeling a certain way, or something like this, and it's in and it's festering and it's been a long time, and you keep thinking about it and it's not resolving, it's because it needs to come out. Maybe part of the process is that person needs to be, maybe they need to have that, put in their face. Maybe they need to have a role in that too. Maybe they need to be addressed, in a certain way. Maybe nobody's ever called them out on their BS before. Maybe, this has never happened. And if you're feeling this way, you are part of their process as well. Whether it's, comes off good or bad, or, this or that, if you feel you need to say something, or if you're feeling a certain way and you just can't get it right within you and it just won't go away, speaking it makes you feel better. You can know that this was part of the divine process, and that person needed to hear what it was that you had to say. Whether they enjoyed it or not, they needed to hear it. And by you denying that and just keeping it in, you're denying them the soul lesson that they also need to learn. So don't look at this as something that is, negative, and you're not attacking somebody else and, I just don't want to say anything. I don't want to hurt anybody, by saying, that you've hurt me. We just need to get these things out. Anyways, this is what I have for you guys here today. I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in. If you want to work with me, currently, I'm making a bunch of wonderful things for you guys that are going to be available soon. But if you want to work with me, currently what I have to offer is one-on-one private sessions with me. This is what I call subconscious soul healing, because that's what it is. I work with blocks, childhood trauma, anxiety, depression, things like this. And we resolve issues extremely quickly. Most sessions are anywhere between an hour and 3 hours. It just depends on how quickly you process. Totally depends on the person, depends on what it is that you're wanting to resolve. And most people only come to me a couple of times because your issues resolve so very quickly, and we don't just talk about them. We don't just talk about them. We actually go in and heal them on a subconscious level so that they're not present in your life anymore. This is what I have for you guys. Love you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.